And Jesse, we appreciate your time here in San Diego. We know how busy it is. So let's just start right now with the market for starting pitching, where it feels like the Padres are at least trying to dip their toe in the water when it comes to starting pitching. What's the market like around baseball right now? It seems like the prices are fairly steep. And thanks for joining us.
I mean, they certainly are for relievers. I mean, we saw what happened with Jason Adam and Estevez. I mean, those are some good prices going back to those teams. So, yeah, I think the price is kind of high for pitching, as it always is at this time of year, much more than for a hitter. The starting pitching market moving a little bit. You know, Jack Flaherty, I think, is absolutely going to be traded by tomorrow. We'll see about a couple other guys like Garrett Crochet or Jamison Taillon, that the names that have been out there, although Taillon's pitching tonight, so I'm not sure that anything's close there. And Crochet's market's been complicated by his kind of demands that are out there. So Flaherty is probably the best name on the market right now that hasn't moved.
And what it's going to take, do you think, in your mind, to get a Jack Flaherty? We just saw Kikuchi get traded to the Astros for their number 2 prospect. Is that kind of the similar maybe asking price here for a Jack Flaherty out there, even though he would be considered a rental?
Absolutely. I mean, he's a solid pitcher. I mean, you're not going to get anybody's top prospect, but when it comes to rentals, you know, you get what you can in a sense, but you're going to get a good one. And maybe, or it's 2 medium ones, whatever the case may be. It's kind of a formula when it comes to those kinds of guys, good pitchers that are rentals. You know, you're trading 2 months for 6 years, basically. So it's a solid prospect or 2, but not anybody's top prospect. That's usually how it works.
Jesse Rogers, ESPN, with us right now on Jon and Jim. All right, so you are acutely aware of everything going on in Chicago. So what is the latest with Garrett Crochet and his market and the way this is all played out with his agent and the club? What's the latest with Crochet, and do you believe that the Padres potentially would be involved in trade conversations?
The answer to your second question is yes. I think the more complicated it is with the White Sox and his agents, the better it is for A.J. Preller to come in here and sneak away with a left-handed starter, especially when you consider the Padres are getting back some starting pitching from injury, right? And the point is this. I think there's a couple teams, the Padres and the Braves, that could use him in the regular season and acquiesce to his demands not to pitch him in the postseason. I don't think the Padres are ready to hand Garrett Crochet an extension, which is what he wants if he pitches in the postseason. Now, I know everyone's going to say it looks bad for him to, you know, take his ball and go home, so to speak, if a team makes the playoffs. But look, Steven Strasburg got shut down in 2012 by the team, by the way. And so it happens. It happens. But I feel like if you want to use him in the regular season and not in the postseason, he's your guy. He's your guy. And I did see, I'm at the White Sox-Royals game right now. I was here all weekend. I did see a Padres scout here yesterday during Crochet's start. He could have been here for, you know, a middle reliever. Sure. I don't know for sure, but he was here, and I can't imagine it was, you know, he didn't report back on Crochet, who did not look sharp yesterday, but that could be for various reasons. So I still think there's a possibility, but the teams are now limited. Chris Getz spoke for the first time about everything that's gone on. He was not happy about it today. What happened with Crochet is sort of putting it out there last week that he has these usage demands, and he didn't go to the team first. He sort of just put it out there. I wrote a story about it with some sources, and he didn't go to the team first. So Chris Getz not happy about that. I can pretty much guarantee you if he's not traded by tomorrow, he'll be traded in the off season. But I could see a team trying to swoop in just to use him down the stretch.
And to get Garrett Crochet, is the asking price still like through the roof?
Yeah, it's pretty big. I mean, because even if you use him limited this year, you've got him for 2 years, and he's at the top of his game. You know, he's built up now. Like, you're going to get the best of him over the next couple of years. You're not going to have to worry about an innings limit. So yeah, it's a very high price for him. And as we've seen with these other pitchers, you guys paid a high one for Jason Adams. Just imagine what a guy like Garrett Crochet, left-handed flamethrower, big, strong, has made every start this year. They've ramped him down some, but there's no reason, you know, not to believe that he's coming into his own as a starter and be really good for at least 2 years of team control.
Jesse Rogers with us right now from ESPN. Trade deadline less than 24 hours out. You've referenced the Jason Adams trade a couple of times. What's your reaction there? A guy that's had a very nice couple of years in Tampa's bullpen as a setup man. like you said, a relatively steep price, maybe a couple of top 10 prospects plus another lower level prospect and an 18-year-old catcher. Does any part of that deal surprise you? And why or why not?
I think seeing what the Phillies got for or what the Angels got for Estevez, it surprises me less. I'm a big. I just mentioned it before. I'm a big like late July is when you want to trade relievers. Nobody cares in November or December about Jason Adams or even a closer. They're so much more valuable now. I'm sure AJ Preller is simply thinking this guy puts our bullpen over the top. And if our bullpen's over the top, we might be in the playoffs. That has to be what he's thinking to give up that kind of a return. Same thing with the Phillies and Estevez. So it's not surprising, but it is because again, you fast forward this 3 or 4 months. There's no way. I don't think Jason Adams you get that return for Jason Adams. Look, the Rays are where you want to go to develop players, and then you go get them. I mean, the Cubs did it with Isaac Paredes yesterday. Like they're getting a more fully developed third baseman. You guys are getting a more fully developed reliever. The Rays can develop, give players runway because they don't really have to answer to fans. I'm not saying that jokingly. Like that's the place that it's almost like a AAA atmosphere at the majors, and you're given a lot of runway to figure out who you are, and then other teams will go fuck you. We've seen it a million times with the Rays, so I don't see why you won't get the best of Jason Adams.
When you look at the Giants, I feel like they're kind of a team you don't know what they're going to do. But what you've heard, are they really considering trying to trade Blake Snell here?
I think the answer is yes, because I think the Giants in general have had an identity problem over the last few years. Not exactly sure what to do. It's been hard to draw the big name free agents. That's not all their fault. They just feel like they're not exactly sure who they are in the baseball landscape. And their record this year is kind of indicative of that as well. I don't think the Giants are better than the Braves, who have come back to the pack a little bit, or better than the Diamondbacks, to be honest, or even the Mets the way they played this year. I just don't. So knowing that, yeah, I'm not surprised they're trying to move a contract that is a big player option for next year, and maybe more guys than just Snell, to be honest. But they're always trying to do a little bit of both, right? And compete on the edges. I think a lot of people in baseball always have wondered the last few years what exactly is happening in San Francisco, with the caveat that they're having trouble drawing big-time free agents.
Jesse Rogers with us for a couple more minutes. We appreciate it, Jesse. What do you think the Dodgers may be still trying to do? I wouldn't envision that their only move was this Tommy Edman, Michael Kopech move that they made today as part of that three-team trade with the White Sox and the Cardinals. I mean, what else are they trying to accomplish in the next 12 months?
I think they would take another starting pitcher. I think they would probably jump in on Crochet because I think they've got inventory and they can maybe acquiesce to his needs down the stretch, or maybe even give him that contract extension. Who knows? I could see them being in on Flaherty. I think the Dodgers and Yankees are going to push their chips in a little bit more. We haven't seen a lot since Jazz Chisholm with the Yankees. But I think they're going to bolster their bullpen. So I would say starting pitcher for the Dodgers, and that's where I think Detroit could do well with Flaherty. I mean, I think he'll do well, and there's a few other guys out there, but he's probably the best name.
A name that's been mentioned, but it kind of feels like it's hard to envision him being traded. Skubal, there's no chance that he gets traded here at that moment.
I'm not going to say no, because Scott Harris, the president of Detroit, is kind of sort of on the radar of a mystery. I know this about Detroit. They are building something for years to come. They're not really concerned about the near-term future as much as they are the long-term. I know for Detroit fans, they're kind of tired of it because it's been a long time coming. But remember, Harris just took over a year or two ago. So I wouldn't be shocked if he was moved. I wouldn't be shocked. It's become a tough division, the AL Central. So I think Harris has a long-term view in mind, and that means you leave yourself open to just about anything. But look, he's an ace. As soon as you trade him, you got to replace him. So I'm not saying it's a fait accompli, but I wouldn't be shocked by it.
I think it's going to be a fascinating next day here before 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 o'clock Eastern tomorrow. Jesse with ESPN, you do a great job. We really appreciate you taking time for San Diegans. Thank you so much. We'll do it again at some point in August or September. So
Thanks,
thank
Jesse.
you.
Okay, guys, no problem.
Great stuff. Jesse Rogers, who says that he does believe Preller is in on Crochet.